All right. I'm processing probably 5 or 7 different trains of thought, parallel and serial. And I'm doing it kind of like holistically, real time in my own noggin, and I'm not terribly good at organizing my own thoughts. So, how can I get across what I'm trying to do here while being mindful of time? I don't know. So I'm doing the best I can here. Where to begin? Well, let's start with ToneBoosters Reelbus. This one here on the right. Now, see, this involves Airwindows mastering. It involves Airwindows meter, which is this one right here, and ToneBoosters Reelbus, which is big part of what I'm trying to do. I'm attempting to achieve compromises that I can live with. So all right. On this Airwindows meter here, we've got, don't mind the numbers or the colors right now. Just look at bright, sonority, dark. If you don't know anything about Airwindows meter, this is not going to make any sense to you. But this is for people who already know what it is and what it's about. If you don't, you should probably look into it. Let me just tell you, when I run the mix through meter, I've learned both through a developing understanding of how this meter works, and also based on, okay, what my ears are telling me, what my brain is telling me, a combination of different things. My mixes tend to be high in sonority, either for considerable stretches or throughout the whole song. Sometimes up into the 80s or 90s in sonority. When that happens, what I want to do is I'd like to keep it at 90 or below. But even if it goes above 90, I'd like to keep a balance between the remainder in terms of bright and dark. So if I've got like 90 sonority, 5 bright, 5 dark, that's ideal. Okay? When sonority is like down in the 50s, 60s, 70s, the bright-dark ratio just kind of depends on a lot of different things, okay? But I do tend to favor dark as an overall tone. However, that often comes with a sacrifice of detail, right? So I don't do a lot of panning. I do almost no panning because of my my bad left ear. I don't hear so well out of my left ear. But I do. I do consider my sound to be textured and somewhat finely detailed. And there are details that I kind of weave into it that I want to be audible. not necessarily waving their arms and calling for your attention, but audible. If I feel like hearing it, if I want to listen to it, I can. But I can also not hear it, not listen to it. This is what I do. This is what I'm after. Okay. However, when I get dark, the dark reading kind of up where I prefer it tone-wise. I'm talking about the overall tone of the mix. I find that sometimes there's a loss of detail that is unacceptable. So, but then sometimes I get it to the detail that I like, but the brightness can be somewhat irritating to me, and I think to others, and can lead to fatigue. So it's just this ongoing negotiations, right? This is just an overview of what I'm dealing with here in general. Now, getting a little bit more specific, I'm calling attention now to ToneBoosters Reelbus, the tape machine emulator, which has a lot of different sounds in it, okay? This thing is pretty incredible, this plugin. It has a lot of sounds in it that will bring this darkness right up, okay, and right down. It has a lot of settings that'll jack brightness up and bring darkness down. And a lot of that depends on, okay, I mean, you got your presets, and I'm kind of a preset guy because I can get so lost in tweaking that I never get anything done. So when I get a plugin that has a lot of good presets in it, I try to find, a short list of ones that I generally find useful, and then sort of like, so have like, I don't know, 5, 7, 10 presets that I consider to be useful, and then confine myself to tweaking within those, right? And so these days with Reelbus, if a mix is too bright, I just want to tame some of the harshness and get it a bit more, darker, more rounded, warmer. I find, let me see, round and warm, this preset right here, and over biasing, those are good. If I've got a mix that's just way too bright and almost kind of like jagged, Swiss Legends is a good place for me to start. Also, subtle saturation is kind of a good, subtle and medium saturation are both also good. They're both, so anyway, for this mix, I kind of wanted Swiss Legends, which is on the darker side, but causes some loss of detail in the lost brightness. And now then there's the Airwindows side of things, and I've got Chris's fairly recent offering, the mastering in Airwindows consolidated under the subtlety category, subtlety and mastering. Now, Airwindows plugins they're different. I don't have time to even try to paraphrase an explanation. If you haven't looked into them, I recommend that you check them out. Go to airwindows.com, download the Airwindows consolidated plugin. It's a toolkit. It's one plugin, but it's many plugins bundled into that one plugin under different categories. And these plugins, these tools are you have to learn about them and how they work. They don't work like what you're used to if you're not familiar with them. They enable you to. So look, let me keep it to this specific situation, because here is what this plugin, Airwindows Mastering, and to a lesser extent, I have this one right here, which is Air 4. Now, in Airwindows Mastering, Glue and Scope, these first two dials are kind of serving the same purpose as Air 4. Okay? But I still have Air 4 in place, and I'm going to try to explain why as I go along. But I'm just using Air 4 specifically for two things. And okay, so I'll say right now, this second knob in Air 4, G&D stands for ground. I'm just using it as a little bump in intensity, sort of energetic intensity. It's not a frequency boost. It's not an EQ, and then it's not an EQ maneuver in the way that you normally think of it. Yeah, it's like a voltage, not a voltage boost. It's, I don't know. What I'm doing here is, okay, I've got the Reelbus setting that I want, Swiss Legends. I'm getting the darkness that I want, and I'm using these Airwindows tools to draw some of that detail back that is sort of buried in that Reelbus imposed darkness. It's so hard to explain. It's just the way these Airwindows plugins work. I can do that. I can bring back some of that detail without the problems that I associate with excessive brightness. And it's just because of the way these Airwindows tools work. So I think that's the best way I can preface it. But before I start, I'm gonna do a playback of the song here, and I'm gonna be commentating a little bit over it. Before I start, I'm gonna bring your attention once again to meter. And so this is a song where it's got parts where there's more darkness. It's got parts where there's more brightness. It's got stretches, especially second chorus to the end, where sonority gets very high, and this this band at the bottom is mostly black with some bands of green. There are 3 lines, blue, red, and green. If you know what those are about, okay, like, I think DJ, like you probably understand this thing better than I do at this point. But Jonathan, with your explanations and all that, I've just kind of come to the point where I'm happiest so I've got the green intention line, more or less staying kind of bouncy, but sort of like more in the top half of this band, not, dipping too low. And I've got the red novelty line, not pinned down, even when the mix gets dense. That red novelty line can sometimes in my mixes get kind of pinned down here, while I've got blue and green sort of like dancing above. I just find that I like things best, and this is what my ears tell me. It's just kind of like coincide. When my ears are happy and my brain is happy, I like what I'm hearing. What I tend to see at those times in meter is that I've got all 3 of these lines just kind of like doing a happy dance somewhere right around the middle, kind of centered around the middle. And they're just kind of like intertwining and dancing together. Now, during periods of like really high sonority, they will tend to kind of like separate a bit more, but I'm happiest when they're just kind of like intertwining and dancing together roughly around the middle. Okay, so I think it's longer than I wanted to go on for a preface. I want people to watch these videos, and I know they're put off by my yapping, but some things need, these things bear explanation. I'm just not very good at it. This is mainly for DJ and maybe Nenko and maybe Jonathan. I'm going to point out maybe a couple of things with the voiceover as I play through this. And one thing I'm going to definitely point out is, okay, well, first, I just want you to, I'm going to keep meter going here, and we're just going to look at, first we're going to look at Reelbus and meter. I just want you to use your ears, and I'm not going to play all the way through this time. I'm just going to hit play from the beginning and watch what happens when I bypass Reelbus. So I'm going to do that right here. I'm just going to click bypass, and you're going to hear the kind of brightness but it's going to be a lot more like that detail is going to come through, but it's going to be really kind of like icy and sort of digitally unpleasant to me. And when I re-engage Reelbus, that little bit darkness and warmth is going to come back that I like. Okay, so reset meter and begin. Okay, I made a mistake. I was bypassing the bus compressor instead of Reelbus, so I had to go in and cut that out. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start it from the beginning, and I'm going to start with Reelbus bypassed. All right, and then I'm going to kick it in. Away we go. So now Now Reelbus is kicked in. Now off again.
Steady as she goes.
You hear that?
The semblance of calm.
Okay, off again.
Not wanting to trigger any alarms.
Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to turn off. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to bypass Air 4 and mastering. I'm going to bypass mastering in Air 4 and Reelbus. Just so you hear just what Reelbus does. Okay. Might as well skip the intro.
Steady as she goes, the semblance of calm.
You see darkness climb.
Not wanting to trigger any alarm.
So now darkness is up around 30%. Off.
By the light of a billion crayon suns.
You see darkness start to fall. But
You smile with your eyes as
to me,
you
that's just like, it's detailed, but it's just not pleasant. Now here comes the bass.
pretending to be.
You see these tiny little red spikes down there?
To us,
That's digital unpleasantness. That's what Chris called
to
overslew.
believe that
Now Reelbus
the
back on.
summit of virtue is trust.
Now to me, it's very much more pleasant.
Pretending to bleed when they're taking the piss.
But I'm missing some of the detail.
They lock you away.
Just so you can hear another. I'm gonna start the same spot just so you can hear another Reelbus setting. I'm gonna go with over biasing. Actually, you're not gonna hear much of a difference between bypassing. Well, you'll hear some difference. So bypassed. Reelbus is bypassed. I'm gonna engage it into this different preset called over biasing. Okay.
Steady as she goes, the semblance of calm.
Did you hear it?
Not wanting to trigger
So now Reelbus is on.
alarms.
Off.
By the light of a billion
Just a little warmer there, but
suns,
I'm going to put it on Swiss Legends.
you smile with your eyes as you
You hear that?
think with your guns.
That's the kind of warmth and dark I want. But
Pretending
trying to
eat what is given.
trying to bring back some of that detail. Enter
To believe
Airwindows
that
mastering.
the summit of virtue is trust.
There's Airwindows mastering engaged. Did you hear it? Again, bypass.
To bleed when they're taking the piss.
And on again.
They'd lock you away.
Off.
Could they only hear this?
Now we go into the chorus, and I'll just bypass engage. On.
A storm on a jet black
Off.
sea. Down
I'll bypass Reelbus.
on the shores of
That's just thin and brittle. Now both of them are bypassed, right? Now, or no, only Reelbus is bypassed.
the terror that
That's mastering bypassed.
just pray
There's both of them. Okay, so I'm going to get Reelbus out of the way. That's what's going on with Reelbus. It's on Swiss Legends, setting I like. Now we're dealing with these two. I bypass mastering. I'll turn it back on here.
Let children be fed
On.
to the gender.
That's quite something, man. Okay, so
Some billionaire savior will come wash it all clean. Well, what could we do?
on again.
We had taxes to pay.
All right, now I'm going to turn on Air 4. Did you hear that? Off.
And the past holds a magic we can't resurrect.
It's just a slight boost in intensity. It's hard. Either you get it or you don't. There's Air 4. I'm going to turn it up too high. And yes, it is a slight boost in volume, but it's not really about the volume. It's about all right, so you can hear it a little bit better now.
Down under the ice of the moon on the shores of the Pleiades.
It's just giving it a little bump in energy. Now, back to meter. I want you to notice something when I'm going to just start twisting girth back and forth. Watch the lines. See that? See how red and green come together? I'm going to turn it down. Watch what happens to red and green. They move apart. Now it's too thin. Now red and green really come together, which is cool, but it's just too, I don't know. It's too boomy. It's too. I had it up around like 60. But I think 50 is, I don't know. Not too far above 50. Again, off. It's such a nice boost in energy and presence. And again, sonority is up around 90, and I've got bright and dark roughly equal. I've got a little bit of bright, I got a little bit of dark. I'm happy. Even when I'm up to 95%, 96, 97, let's go back. I want to go back and listen to that solo section again with mastering turned off. I'm going to turn off mastering and Air 4. And Jonathan, I know. It's like glue and scope are supposed to be Air 4 and what is it? Skronk drive are supposed to be like Zoom. but I'm using Air 4 anyway. First, because it's I don't like those overslew spikes at all. I don't want any. And Air 4, as long as I don't turn up air and I keep ratio at 1, I don't get any overslew spikes at all. But I can get away with turning ground up for a little bit of ground intensity. I like that. So I like to have that in addition to mastering. And all right, so I want to hear this. I want to hear this solo. You got a guitar solo panned a little bit to the left, a synth solo panned a little bit to the right, and It's just one of those places where I'm listening to granular detail and clarity. I'm going to leave. First, I'm going to turn off Reelbus and play part of this solo section with all these off. And I'll leave meter on. Now, just with Reelbus on, that I don't want that synth solo too loud, just because of what I'm after, man. It's like I'm after a certain sound, a live kind of sound, a live band kind of sound, and so I turn on Reelbus, and the detail of that synth part just kind of like it takes too much of a back seat. So listen what happens just listening to that synth solo part. I turn on mastering. That and then Air 4 with that little bit of it just I don't know. Yes, now that's a very dense part of the song. So novelty tends to get pinned down during sections like that. But these are going to start coming back together now. So I don't mind that for stretches. But in general, I like these three vibing together as much as possible. So, in the outro section, sonority's going to come down, bright and dark are going to come back up, and these three lines are going to start vibing together again more. Takes the numbers a little bit of time to reflect. You see dark coming up. And there are other details going on right now. Okay, there's some other details in the outro there. We end up with right around 20% dark. Some other details in the outro here that if I turn off, I'm just going to leave Reelbus on, but I'm going to bypass mastering and Air 4. During this outro, there are just some sort of atmospheric details that get a little bit buried. I turn these back on and they pop right back out, but without like an overall increase in like digital brightness. So hang on. Listen specifically the arpeggiations of the electric guitar. There's a synth part whose piano roll is identical to the bass line, but it's a synth and it's doing some kind of like squawking stuff up in the high mids, and some other details that are going to are just pronounced and accentuated in a pleasant way thanks to Airwindows mastering and Air 4. So I start this outro section with them bypassed, and then I'll turn them on. Also the acoustic guitar. Acoustic guitar just stopped, but back on. Hear that? Off. All right. Man, I kept that as concise as I possibly could. I'm really trying to keep these shorter as much as I can, but I mean, I have things to show and things to say, and they're not for everybody, so that's fine. It's just that I want to be respectful of people's time. Also, you guys that listen regularly. But that's what I'm. This is my workflow. This is the way that I'm accomplishing my objectives, such as they are, and to whatever extent you're interested, I hope you get something out of it. Maybe something you can apply to what you're trying to do. Lord knows I'm not trying to tell other people what they should be doing. It's not what this is about at all. But yeah, maybe you can come away from this with some you can apply to your objectives and what you're trying to do. Okay? But I've made quite a bit of progress today, both with the mid-side processing and bringing. This is my second time working with mastering, Airwindows mastering, and I really feel like I've got starting to get a handle on it. So check it out if you haven't. It's pretty amazing stuff, Airwindows. So that's it for now, and I am going to mix this down, take it out for another road test. I think it's going to do fine on the road test. And then I'm going to turn my attention, I'm going to put this song away for a while. And I think next I'm going to turn my attention both with Isotope Ozone and Airwindows mastering and Air 4. I'm going to go back to the Tom Waits cover, Dirt in the Ground, and Ballad of a Hungry Ghost. And then I'm going to go back to a tone, and then I need to get back to Perennial, which I haven't finished tracking yet, but I needed to take an extended break from that because I'm still not done with composition and arrangement. So anyway, that's it. Once more from lovely, scenic Paju City, South Korea. I am Lean Bear. And once again, if you need help with, you're struggling with alcohol and you need help, you can reach out to me. Please read the video description, the channel description. You can find my email in there and Discord server. This home audio production thing is something that anybody can learn to do and have fun with, even if you're not a musician or a songwriter per se. You can find something. You can do sound collage. There's just all kinds of things you could do, and the software that you need is all free. Really, if you have a computer, just a reasonably recent, decent computer, that's all you need to get started. And I can help you out with that. Just reach out to me. Okay, from lovely, scenic Paju City, South Korea. I'm off to the orthopedic hospital tomorrow. My physical therapist father tells me I need to go in and get scans and x-rays and start, he thinks it's probably serious enough that I need to get my ass to the hospital. So gonna upload this and get some shut-eye. You guys who are kind enough to watch and listen and comment, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Even a passing comment makes a difference and makes it seem worthwhile to me. I do appreciate it. Okay. More tomorrow, I suppose. Take care, everybody. Over and out.